Welcome to this segment of Because You Asked. I'm Barry Nussbaum. Over the past several weeks, we have produced several reports, and I've appeared on other shows explaining the progress being made towards the implementation of President Trump's border wall program. Now that the initial design proposals have been submitted to the federal government for review, and discussions are taking place both publicly and in private in regards to those design submissions, the process has veered into a truly bizarre place. Two elected California state officials are attempting to block companies from working on the wall once the contracts are awarded. Today, on Because You Asked, we will examine the question, what are these proposed laws attempting to do, and will they be successful? So, two California politicians attempting to stop President Trump's border wall brought their fight to San Diego last week. But the business bans they are proposing very well will lead to legal challenges. The first, State Senator Ricardo Lara, and the second, Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher, are both Democrats, and they held a joint press conference with their supporters on the steps of the Edward J. Schwartz Federal Building in downtown San Diego. They were there to promote their legislation that they've crafted to punish any business that works on the border wall. Lara argued a wall would hurt California's economy because of money Mexican shoppers spend in San Diego and goods the state exports to Mexico. So I think he's saying that California wants to support illegal immigration because it's good for the economy when illegals spend money on shopping trips that they've illegally smuggled into San Diego. Really? Now, there's already a huge fence on the border in San Diego, and no one's going over that fence anymore. And then he's additionally saying that exports into Mexico will decline once the wall's in place. Honestly, I don't understand the logic of that argument at all. Now, at last week's press conference, Lara further argued that the proposed law was legally reviewed before the bill was even proposed. He said, quote, "It's well within our constitutional rights, under states' rights, to determine who the state enters into contracts with," unquote. Gonzalez Fletcher, who co-sponsored the divestment bill, said the president created the wall as a linchpin of his campaign to create a wedge between immigrants and non-immigrants. This is what she said. "We know why Trump was using this symbolic stupid wall metaphor, and now he's going to go ahead and waste taxpayer dollars to say he did it. We know it's never going to be completed." So it would seem that Assemblywoman Gonzalez Fletcher is underestimating both the power of the federal government and President Trump in particular to get a project built. And then her characterization of the wall project as a metaphor that's attached to a wall that will never be built? Are you following me? Lara said he was targeting a specific group of businesses and that it would be wrong to paint the legislation with a broad brush. He said, "Would we support companies that want to build internment camps? Would we support construction companies that want to build segregated schools? This is the type of issue that we think in California merits that review." So Senator Lara feels that a border wall that would be replacing a border fence that's already in place is the same as building an internment camp or a segregated school. Seriously? And get this, it's not just the state of California that's proposing these bans on contractors. San Francisco lawmakers proposed a bill in March that would boycott any company that plans to utilize their services to help construct the border wall from bidding on any future project within the San Francisco area. And there are other cities joining in as well. Leaders at CalPERS, the giant public pension fund that invests the retirement money for California's public employees, are voicing concerns about a set of these bills that would compel the $310 billion pension fund to divest from politically unpopular projects such as the President border wall. This is what they said. When you divest, you basically take our voice out of the debate, said CalPERS Chief Operating Officer Wiley Tillett. In other words, he wants to have a say and he doesn't want to be taken out of the debate. So the big question going forward, are the proposed laws legal? Phoenix-based constitutional lawyer and historian Robert McWhirter says a case could be made that Laura's law that's proposed would violate the Supremacy Clause, which makes the Constitution the law of the land, and the Commerce Clause, which prohibits states from passing laws that burden interstate commerce. Here's what he said. In other words, when the federal government makes a policy, a state can't go directly against that, he says. A state can't retaliate against companies. You really can't have a state impinging on free commerce. Because You Asked agrees. It would seem that California has veered so far to the left that interfering with federal law is completely acceptable and supported within the state of California. So their argument that says replacing the existing fence with a wall is just like building an internment camp, and that's now mainstream thought in California. We don't think the courts will allow this craziness to stand. Obviously, we will continue to report on this story as it develops. There's a lot more news coming, believe me. Thanks, Christine in San Diego, for this great question. Please keep your questions coming to American Truth Project and our social media on Facebook or Twitter. If we select your question, you get a special gift. You can also write to me directly by sending me an email to barry@americantruthproject.org and go to our website where you can sign up to be on our mailing list so you never miss an important episode, and it's free. We're here to answer your urgent questions because you asked. I'm Barry Nussbaum.